Hello, I am Zishan Ahmed Siddiqui, Assistant Professor in the Department of Computer Application at the Bhopal School of Social Sciences. In this video, we are going to discuss about Karl Pearson's coefficient of correlation, which is denoted by the alphabet small r. Karl Pearson is a mathematician and a biostatistician. He has given many methods to describe how to calculate coefficient of correlation. Basically, correlation is about relationship between two variables. When we are talking about linear correlation, by linear we means there are two variables, although there are many factors that affects a certain property. For example, if you are talking about the production of a particular crop, so there are n number of factors that affects the data, like the amount of rainfall, the manure, the soil, the methods of cultivation, and so on. But in linear correlation, we are discussing only one factor, say for example, the amount of rainfall and the production of a particular crop. So there are certain methods that we are going to discuss with Karl Pearson's coefficient of correlation. Through correlation, we are trying to find out how extensive the two variables are correlated to each other. By extension, we mean like for example, if I am saying he is my friend, he is my good friend, and he is my best friend. So the intensity level of the relationship is different in these three statements. So this we are trying to find out with the help of R, that is coefficient of correlation. So we understood the meaning of linear relationship, that is relationship between two variables. While calculating R, we will get two things. One is called the magnitude, another is called the direction. By magnitude, we means how strongly they are bound, and by direction, that is either the value of R is positive or negative. If the value of R is negative, it means there is a negative correlation. If the value of R is positive, it means a positive correlation. As we know, the value of R lies between +1 and -1. The value of R can never be greater than 1 and can never be less than 1. It means whatever be the value of R, it should be between +1 and -1. If the value of R is +1, we are saying it is perfect correlation. If the value of R is -1, we are saying it is perfect negative correlation. So the plus and minus sign denotes the positive and negative correlation. Positive correlation, we mean both the variables are moving in the same direction, like with the increase in one variable, another is also increases, and vice versa. With the negative correlation means both the variables are inversely proportional to each other. It means with the increase in one, another will be decreases, and vice versa. As we already discussed about the magnitude, magnitude is how strongly the two variables are associated, whether it is a positive correlation or negative correlation. Let x and y be two random variables, then the coefficient of correlation between the variables x and y is denoted by rxy, or we can say r in subscript xy. R is basically covariation of x and y divided by under root of variation of x multiplied by variation of y. In terms of standard deviation, we can even write R as summation dx dy divided by n times of standard deviation of x and standard deviation of y. Now, in this example, we have used two symbols, that is called sigma. Sigma is basically the 16th alphabet in Greek. It is uppercase, it is used as summation. In lowercase, we are calling it as standard deviation. Dx and dy are the deviations from their respective series. Karl Pearson's coefficient of correlation, we are having three different methods. The first is direct method, second is square of values, even called as product of moment correlation, and the third is shortcut method, in which we are using deviations. So we are moving to the first method, that is direct method. The formula is R is equals to summation xy divided by under root of summation x square into summation y square, where x is x minus x bar, that is deviation taken from actual mean from the x series. Similarly, y is y minus y bar is the arithmetic mean of y series, so we have to subtract the value of y bar from all the values of y. Different authors has given different notations, so we are having another formula, that is R is equals to summation dx dy by under root of summation dx square into summation dy square. Only the notations are different. Dx is same as we have discussed, that is x minus x bar. It means we have to subtract the value of x bar from all the values of x. Similarly, dy is nothing, but we have to subtract the mean of y series from all the given values of y. So let's move on to a numerical. we have some values of x and y, and we have to check whether both the variables are correlated to each other or not, and how much they are associated with each other. So let's take an example. In this example, some observations are given, some values are given for x and y. So the first step is to calculate arithmetic mean of both the series, that is x and y. We already know the formula for calculating arithmetic mean. Arithmetic mean is nothing but sum of all the observations divided by number of observations. So some observations are given for x like 11, 10, 9, etc. So we need to add all these values, which comes out to be 56, and the number of observations are 7. So 56 by 7, that is equals to 8. So the arithmetic mean of x series will come out to be 8. Similarly for y series, again the formula is same, sum of all the observations divided by number of observations, that is 77 by 7, which comes out to be 11. The next step is to find deviation. As we already discussed, deviation is nothing but we have to subtract the mean of that series from all the values of x. So as we know, in this case the mean was 8. It means we have to subtract 8 from all the given values of x, like 11 minus 8 comes out to be 3, 10 minus 8 comes out to be 2, and so on. So this way we can find out the deviations, but here we have to take care of the negative and positive sign. Similarly, for the y series, the arithmetic mean is 11. It means we have to subtract 11 from all the given values of y. So the first value of y is 20. It means we have to subtract 11 from 20, which comes out to be 9. Similarly, 18 minus 11 is 7. So we have to calculate all the differences, means by subtracting 11 from all the given values of y. After calculating dx and dy, the next step is to squaring these deviations. So as we know that dx is 3, as it is in your screen. So square of 3 is 9, square of 2 is 4, and so on. Similarly for dy, we have to calculate dy square. So the first value in dy is 9. So the square of 9 is 81, square of 7 is 49, and so on. So after calculating square of all the dx and dy, we have to find the sum in both the columns. The last step in this table is dx into dy. It means we have to find the product of both the deviations. In the column dx and dy, we have to find the product of dx and dy. So in dx column, the first value is 3. In dy column, the first value is 9. So the product comes out to be 27. Similarly, in the second row, under dx the value is 2, under dy the value is 7. So product comes out to be 14. Similarly, we have to find all the products of all the deviations dx and dy. And lastly, we have to find the sum of this particular column. After having all these information with us, now we can substitute these values in our formula. As we know, the formula for calculating Karl-Pearson's coefficient of correlation by direct method, that is R is equals to summation dx dy divided by under root of summation dx square into summation dy square. Since we have all the values, we have to substitute these values in the formula. So it comes out as 76 divided by under root of 28 into 226, which comes out to be 0.955. Now this is the value of R. But since after getting this value, we cannot understand what it interprets. After calculating the value of R, we need to interpret the result. As we know, if the value of R is close to 1, it means there is a high degree of correlation, and we need to take care of the sign also. So as we can see, the value of R is plus 0.955. This value is very much close to 1. So we can interpret that there is a high degree of correlation between x. Now the next method that comes with us is Karl-Pearson's coefficient of correlation by square of values. Now in this method, we are not going to use deviations. Instead, we are going to use directly the values of x and y. The formula for calculating R by this method is R is equals to summation xy minus summation x into summation y by n, where n is number of observations, whole divided by under root of summation x square minus summation x whole square by n, multiplied by summation y square minus summation y whole square by n. It can also be written in different forms, like it is there on your screen, that is R is equals to n times of summation xy minus summation x into summation y whole divided by under root of n times of summation x square minus summation x whole square multiplied by again under root of n times of summation y square minus summation y whole square. Let's take an example. We are taking the previous example, the values are same but the method is different. So what we need to do is, here we are not going to calculate deviations, we are just squaring the values of x and squaring the values of y. As you can see, the first value under x is 11, so square of 11 is 121, square of 10 will be 100 and so on. Likewise, for the y series, the first value is 20, square comes out to be 400, the next value is 18, square comes out to be 324. Likewise, we can calculate x square and y square, and in the end we can find the sum of x square and sum of y square. In the last column, we have to calculate the product of x and y, where we need to find the multiplication of the corresponding values of x and y. As we can see, the first value under x is 11 and the first value under y is 20, so the product will come out to be 220. Likewise, we can calculate the product of x and y, the corresponding values, and then in the end we can find the sum. Now we are having all the values, we have to just substitute all these values in our formula. As we discussed, the formula for calculating r by this method is n times of summation xy minus summation x into summation y whole divided by under root of n times of summation x square minus summation x whole square multiplied by under root of n times of summation y square minus summation y whole square. So if we put all these values in the formula, the value of r comes out to be 0.955. Now here you can see the value of r is same as that of the previous example. Method is different. Since the observations are same, so the result will also be same. Here again we need to find out the interpretation. That is very important, because just by seeing the value of r we cannot interpret the association of the variables. Since the value of r is positive, it means there is a positive correlation. The value is very much close to 1, it means that there is a high degree of correlation among the variables. The last method in this video, that is shortcut method. Here we are going to use deviations. The formula is on your screen, that is r is equals to summation dx dy minus summation dx into summation dy by n whole divided by under root of summation dx square minus summation dx whole square by n multiplied by summation dy square minus summation dy whole square by n. So this is the formula. Although it is a shortcut method, but formula looks a bit difficult. But if you see, the sum of deviations taken from actual mean is always 0. So if instead of writing summation dx, which comes out to be 0, if we are using deviations from actual mean, then the formula will be same as that of the direct method. In this case, the dx and dy are bit different. In direct method, the dx is x minus x bar. It means we are taking deviations from actual mean, whereas in shortcut method, we are taking deviations from assumed mean. Now, what is assumed mean? Assumed mean can be any value between the minimum and the maximum in that particular series. Let's take an example. We are having some values of x and y. The first value under x is 78, the next is 89 and so on. So we have to first check the minimum value under x. In this case, it is 54 and the maximum value is 97. So your assumed mean can be any value between the minimum and the maximum, that is between 54 and 97. Similarly, in y series, we are having again certain values. We have to see which is the minimum value and the maximum value, and we can assume any value as our assumed mean for the y series. Now, why we are taking assumed mean? The reason is it is always advisable when the arithmetic mean of either of the series comes in fraction. So it is always advisable to go for a shortcut method where we can take assumed mean. Otherwise, what will happen if we subtract a fractional value from a whole number? So all the values will be converted into fraction and the calculation will be complex. So just to ease our calculation, we are taking assumed mean so that the difference, the deviations will be in whole numbers. So we will move to the solution of this example. We are just first checking whether the arithmetic mean of x and y series is in whole numbers or not. So when we add all the values of x, it comes out to be 591 and the number of observations are 8. So if we divide, it comes as 73.875, which is a fractional value. Now if we subtract this fractional value from all the values of x, all the values will be into decimal, that is in fraction. So to avoid the complexity, we are using assumed mean. Similarly, in the y series, if we are calculating arithmetic mean, which is also comes in fraction, so we are not going to use direct method for such questions. Instead, we are going to use shortcut method. The calculation will be more easier. Now how to solve this question? In this numerical, for x series, we are assuming 70 as our assumed mean. It means we have to subtract 70 from all the given values of x. So if we subtract 70 from 78, it comes out to be 8. Similarly, the next value under x is 89. So 89 minus 70 comes out to be 19. Likewise, we have to subtract 70 from all the given values of x. For y series, we are assuming, we can assume any value, but for this particular numerical, we are assuming 120 as our assumed mean. It means we have to subtract 120 from all the given values of y. As we can see, the first value under y is 125. So 125 minus 120 comes out to be 5. 137 minus 120 comes out to be 17. So likewise, we can subtract 120 from all the given values of y. After calculating deviations, we have to find the sum of dx and dy. In this case, which is comes out to be 31 and 43. After calculating deviations from assumed mean, now we have to calculate dx square and dy square. So just squaring the values of dx column, the first value is 8, square will be 64. The second value under dx column is 19, the square comes out to be 361. Likewise, we can calculate the square of all the dx values. Similarly, for dy column, the first value is 5, square will be 25, the next value is 17, the square is 289. Similarly, we can find the square of all the values of dx in that particular column. The last column, as we can see, is the product of dx and dy. So we have to multiply the corresponding values of dx and dy. The first value under dx is 8, the first value under dy is 5. So their multiplication will be 40. Likewise, we can find out the product of dx and dy. In the end, we have to find the summation. After calculating the summation of all these columns, we have to just substitute these values in our formula. So our formula is r is equals to summation dx dy minus summation dx into summation dy by n whole divided by under root of summation dx square minus summation dx whole square by n multiplied by summation dy square minus summation dy whole square by n, where n is the number of observations. And the other values we have already calculated in the previous table. So we are just going to substitute these values in our formula, and the result will come out to be 0.924. Again, this value of r is very much close to 1, so we can interpret that there is a high positive correlation between x and y. So this is all about Karl Pearson's coefficient of correlation. In this video, we have discussed the 3 different methods of calculating r, that is Karl Pearson's coefficient of correlation. So now, after getting this value of r and the interpretation of the result, we conclude our video. In this video, we have discussed 3 different methods, that is direct method for finding r, shortcut method without deviations, and shortcut method with deviations. Hope you find this video useful. Thank you for watching.